2018 when the Warriors were minus 1,200 against the Cavs. Golden State won that in a sweep. The Thunder have the MVP, that's SGA. He averaged 39 points, 8 assists, and 7 boards this year in 2 games against Indiana, both of which were won by OKC. His opposing point guard, Tyrese Halliburton, struggled in those 2 games. In fact, that is an understatement, averaging just 11 points, his fewest versus any opponent this season. Let's take a deeper dive into that, shall we? In addition to the 11 points a game, Halliburton averaged just 5.5 assists against OKC. That's tied for his fewest against any opponent this year. Indiana was minus 32 with him on the floor in those games, his worst plus-minus against any opponent. So none of that bodes well. Here's LeBron James on Indiana's catalyst.
You look at what's going on with the Pacers throughout the regular season and now throughout the postseason, you get it. You get why they are the team they are. And it starts with the head of the snake. We know that. You can gravitate and bring energy and love and would run through a wall for certain guys. And he's a guy that you would do that for just because of how he plays the game. Allie is one of them ones.
Okay, so the stage set there, and Jay Will, we were talking about it this morning. 2 games is a small sample size, right? They didn't play, it's not like they played each other 6 times. But the 2 games, that Oklahoma City defense, which is the stuff of legend, seems really to have limited, to say the least, Tyrese Halliburton. What is the key for him to get himself and his team going to give them a chance to win this championship?
I mean, you're going to have to see a lot of kick-ahead passes, but I'll just say this. If Lou Dort is able to take Hallie out of the game, this will probably be a sweep. Right? Because you talk about Indiana has to take care of the basketball during the regular season. They're 3rd best in the country actually taking care of the ball. But when you think about OKC in the playoffs, they're forcing around 20-plus turnovers per game and 25 points off those turnovers. So taking care of the rock and him actually able to get into transition is going to be critical for the Pacers to have a fighting shot.
Monica, I mean, Halliburton, it feels like this is such an enormous part of how this thing will go.
Yeah, I agree with Drake, excuse me, and that pace is where you start when it comes to him. But I also think if he can manage to have a decently efficient night from 3, which is interesting because he's not a guy that you think of in terms of having a quick trick.
So no,
thank you. I'm good, Green.
Let's see what we can get going here. I'm a barista, by the way, in my part-time. Back to Jay, though, if I can. It's not just Halliburton, obviously, right? The Pacers want to beat you by outscoring you. It is generally speaking what they did to the Knicks. He is the head of the snake, as you described it earlier, but he needs to get everyone involved. They're going to need to shoot the lights out from 3 to have a chance to win. Yeah.
Also, I think this can become a signature moment for Pascal Siakam, right? Because OKC is going to play small in this matchup, and I probably think they're going to start with Chet Holmgren as their center, which means Alex Caruso will be guarding lights up Pascal Siakam. He has had advantages when he's able to post up smaller guards. So look,
Jay, hold up. Go ahead.
It's going to have to be it, Monica.
Hold him up.
It's going to have to be it.
We can't talk about Alex Caruso like he's a smaller guard.
I'm not saying I know because he took Julius Randle out of his play.
And before that, he was bothering Nikola Jokic.
So what other matchup has to be imperative in order for Indiana to have a shot?
I think I agree with you, but I would caution the advantage. I agree.
Well, I said it has to be an advantage. That's only, well, I mean, if you're asking me how Indiana has to win, that has to be the advantage.
Okay.
There's not too many other advantages
this is true.
that you're going to find because they can take you out of transition. They can beat you with their size and their length, and they're methodical in their pace. So if you're asking me what advantage has to win, I probably put the probability lower on Tyrese Halliburton and Lou Dort. I have to put a lot of that weight on Pascal Siakam.
So, yeah, but so I think when you look at this one on paper, to your point, it would be if that happens. But Alex Caruso has proven that he's prepared to guard up, right? I also think that when you talk about this team, we keep coming back to pace. In the playoffs, the facts say that Oklahoma City has actually been playing faster than the Pacers.
Transition.
And so all of these things where the Pacers have had clear advantages in terms of coming at you in waves, the pace, like, oh, you met your match in this one. So,
look, OKC, they are the 85 Bears. That's what their defense is. And the 85 Bears lost 1 game during that season because Dan Marino just went completely crazy on a Monday night, and that spoiled the perfect season. So that's what we're saying. Someone's going to have to do that for Indiana, and we think that someone is Tyrese Halliburton or Pascal Siakam.
I think the odds are probably higher that it's going to be Pascal Siakam, but Tyrese Halliburton has to be effective, and they have to find different ways to get him going because he's the initiator of the offense. He's the tip of the spear.
Did you mention odds? I'm glad that you did.
There you go.
That's why we have Mr. Fortenbaugh here. Joe,
everyone slide out. Let's get ready.
Let us get this party started with some of your favorite little wagers here. What are we looking at for your best bet tonight?
When it comes to the game itself, let's go with Oklahoma City minus the 9.5 in that game. If you want to go Tyrese Halliburton, we can get back to him as well. But in this matchup tonight, Oklahoma City has a lot of history on its side. Home teams, game one, last 20 years, 17-3 against the spread. Not just winning, blowing the opposition out. 14 of those wins have come by double digits. It all comes down to the OKC defense like you're talking about. They are 22.1 points per game off turnovers, the most of the last 25 years. So best bet for the game itself would be right there on OKC.
Give me a little taste of what you were going to give us on Halliburton. We'll have plenty today from Joe with his best bets.
On Halliburton, you mentioned the Lou Dort matchup. Drill down on that for a moment. 135 half-court possessions. Tyrese Halliburton versus Lou Dort. You know how many points he has in those 135 possessions? 11.
Ooh,
11
say 10.
points. 11. That's a good guess.
I'm close.
Posthumously, it's a good guess.
Yeah.
But where we're at with this is you want to make two bets against Halliburton because that isn't factored into the pricing. 9.5 assists is based on what he's done all year. Season average. This is a step up in class. 27.5 points plus assists. That's based on what he's done all year. This is a step up in class. That's what you want to find. Pricing based on things that don't have very much to do at all with what we're seeing in this game. Okay.
Game one of the NBA Finals as we go. But up next, some football in the conversation. Could Shedeur Sanders really start week one for the Browns? One of his coaches said something yesterday that might turn Cleveland for the Browns. One of his coaches said something yesterday that might turn Cleveland into Believe Land. Plus, a Saquon stunner. The hint he dropped that could change everything in Philly. It's all on the way. You're watching Get Up on a wild morning.